Hello there. Thanks for joining me on another edition of your number one sports business show, Sport Exchange. Judy Olano is my name, and today promises to be another exciting one. So if you're ready to go with me, I'm also ready. Today we will be talking about something very critical. Our focus will be on Nigeria this time around. We are looking at, 2023 presidential election and sports. That's what we'll be talking about. We need to focus. We need to begin to set agenda because we know that the campaign is in the air already. A lot of people are talking about their favorite candidates. People are beginning to align. So I think, and most times people talk about the economy and they don't factor sports, which is one of the biggest sector in any economy in the world. So today we'll be looking at the 2023 presidential election and sports. How do we make sure that sport becomes a business and so that it can also help lift people out of poverty? That is what we'll be looking at today on the show. We're going to break, and when I return, we'll set the ball rolling. Don't go away.
Fantastically finished.
Welcome back. The reason why we need to get our acts together in sports is what I'm going to be showing you next. Even when we are winning, we found our ways. Now, even when Nigeria is winning, we found our ways of getting into trouble, of making bad press. For example, you will remember the World Athletics Championship in Oregon, USA. Nigeria broke a record. Toby Amuson of Nigeria broke a record in the 100 meters hurdle while people were celebrating. We were celebrating not without this particular gaffe by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, or because you can even say Nigeria. For example, look at the picture on the screen. 4 athletes, one of them has an inscription that the Nigeria is not complete. We had Nigeria. I don't know which country is Nigeria, but all I know, there is a Nigeria. So what in a country like that, nobody is getting the boots. For example, look at the excuse on the screen that was given for that unfortunate mistake, and is coming from the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, the Secretary General. Look at it. The letter I was missing from the spelling of Nigeria on the vest, and instead of celebrating the unprecedented feat achieved by sprint hurdler Toby Amuson, who set a new 100-meter hurdle world record en route to winning Nigeria's first gold medal, and long jumper Ese Brume, who became the first Nigerian to win a medal in 2 straight world championships, they chose to deliberately paint the federation in bad light. It is really disheartening to know that a few Nigerians could shift their focus from the incredible feats our athletes performed in Oregon, which attracted commendation from the President Muhammadu Buhari, to a factory error made by Giant Sports, where an equipment company, Nike, and which affected just the vest Ofili wore at the championship, says AFN Secretary General Prince Adeniyi Adisabeyoku. Just imagine what on earth will make someone give such untenable excuse. That is appalling. It is incredulous. It is unbelievable. And that is why we need to take sports serious. The governance structure in sport is very important, as well as the medals we win. So we need to begin to take sports as serious business. And that is why this program is here to look at this issue. So Up next is, let me quickly get someone to shed light on the topic for today, which is the 2023 presidential election on sports. And I will be having an Olympian, a former former tennis player. And also he's an adjunct professor of global education and curriculum development and improvement at Florida International University in Miami, Florida. Sadiq Abdullahi joins me on Sport Exchange today, and it's my pleasure to have him. Sadiq, thanks for joining me. It's my pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. This is a very important topic.
Yep. Let's go straight, get down to business. Now, 2023 presidential election and sports. You're one of those that I have followed. Most times when there are elections, you are always shouting on the rooftop. What are we engaging the politicians on how we should do sports the way we should do it? You've seen it done in the United States where you are based. And you've done so many things. You have an academy, you're doing so much, you have a Vision 2030 sport that you are also working on. But 2023 is just some months away. Let's begin to set the agenda now, Sadiq. How should we engage politicians to make sure that we get out of this quagmire where we get bad press even after winning gold medal at the World Championship, for instance?
Yeah. We are not engaging our politicians in the appropriate way and manner to raise awareness of some of the challenges facing sports and sports development in Nigeria. We've not done a good job. Yes, I have been involved in sports for the last 30 years, and as of recent, I'm also part of the team that drafted the Nigerian sports industry policy. You mentioned sports as a business, and we have to treat it as such. I have to give credit to the current minister, Sunday Dare, for moving in that direction. Dallon, the former minister, also, talked about moving in the direction of sports as a business in Nigeria. I've been coming home every year, twice every year, to make sure that we mobilize and come up with strategies to engage politicians, because the way politicians are addressing sports in Nigeria is faulty. There's a fundamental disconnect between their agenda and the agenda of sports in general.
Wow. Let's address the disconnect now. Nigeria is not doing very well economically right now. And there are so many people below the poverty line. And some of them are even young people, able-bodied, that sports could bring out of poverty. And here we have a burgeoning number of young people, but it's like no direction yet. How do we begin to build the block? For example, you guys have drafted a policy. We are yet to hear anything. So what are the things we should be talking to the politicians now? We better start now. How should we start the engagement, just like you say? Take me through that.
Exactly. Very, very, very good question, right? But let me identify the four parties and the leaders, and then we can now, put it in context. Now we can now come up with how to do that. For the Labour Party, we have Peter Obi and his running mate, that's Yusuf Baba Ahmed, right? For the All Progressive Congress, we have Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kasim Shettima. And then for the People's Democratic Party, we have Abubakar Tiko and Ifeanyi Okowa, right? And then the fourth party that, again, we should not leave them out of the conversation, is the New Nigerian People's Party, the presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso, and the Bishop Isaac in the NOSA. Now, to begin to get them to think about sports in a new way that will involve youths, right? Okay, so how do we go about that? Again, we need to have, right? We need to organize ourselves. The problem we have in Nigeria is that, again, we are not well organized. Athletes are not well organized. They were not well presented. So a lot of people, doing whatever they want. Remember, Bola Ahmed Tinubu one time, the footballers, ex-footballers, went to him. It went viral, and nothing came out of that visit. I would have hoped, that those people that went, even if they're not partisan, right? There are some that will be non-partisan. They can now mobilize all of us to come in and then talk about our role in this election and what we need to do. I'm talking about PVC and the rest, and then bring a lot of youths together and then begin that process. That will get the attention of the presidential candidates. And then from that conversation, then we can now look at the documents that they have, the manifesto, right? How does the manifesto of each party reflect our own vision as athletes? I don't see that. I have looked at and I've listened, to what they have to offer. Yes, economy is number one. Insecurity is number two. Education is number three. Sports should be number four, in sense that then we can now merge education and sports together. That is what I would like to see in the manifesto. How do we bring sports into the conversation and then link it to the economy, right? You mentioned it in your introduction, how critical sports as a business globally and the money that is coming up. We're not tapping into it because the intellectuals in Nigerian sports, the elites in Nigerian sports, those that want to do Olympic and win national, international, continental championships, are not coming together, to now say, look, we have educated people, right? We're not really politicians, but we are winners. We love Nigeria. We represented Nigeria from our heart. The people that represent Nigeria in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, right? I represent Nigeria in the 80s, right? So I represent that group. Then there are 90s, and now we have, the Emerson and the rest in now, that are going to be taken over from us. So we are ready. Athletes in Nigeria are ready to organize and they influence. So we're looking for a presidential candidate that will meet our needs and the needs of the nation, using economy, using education, and then using the youth, to unify the country and then keep Nigeria going.
Sadiq, thank you very much. I just wanted to also say something. There is a nexus between, you mentioned economy, you mentioned security, you mentioned education too. And there's the nexus that's what they have with sports. For example, that it's everybody, young people that will, and I do mind is the devil's workshop. So if we engage the youth in sports, insecurity, the issue of insecurity can be taken care of. For example, if you build a vibrant sports economy, it will add to the GDP. So education, it's a no-brainer already. It's a no-brainer. We've seen the templates that the United States is using. Even we're benefiting from it. And it's also, they are using, by extension, they are using it for diplomacy too. You can use it. So I think you have seen it. And for example, you know what the NCA is all about. You have benefiting from it. So how do we make sure that it's not all about this conversation that we are having beyond the studio? How do we take it out? You've said you want to organize yourself, especially for you guys that you've seen it all in sports, and right now you are trying to manage. How do we replicate? Do you guys have a policy now from your end? I know you are a member of the Nigerian Olympians. Yeah. Do you guys have a policy that you will interface with these people to show them that this is what you have? What do they have to match this so that we can start the conversation?
Exactly. Very, very good point. We have a constitution. I'm a member of the Nigerian Olympian Association, and I'm also behind the writing of the constitution. We want to rewrite the constitution. We want to involve Nigerians in Nigeria, Nigerians in the diaspora, in the rewriting of the constitution, so that we can now regain our credibility and then begin to change the conversation. I am a product of American institution. A lot of the Olympians came to this country on a scholarship. So we know the value of education, and then we know the value education does. But it has to start from the primary, secondary, and then tertiary. If you don't get it right in the primary level, then it's going to be very difficult to go into the secondary. And then, of course, remember, what we're trying to get, we want to try to get as many youths as possible engaged in one form of sports, right? Either through the schools, clubs, or any other means. At least they are engaged early on. So now we are talking about how do we do that. So we need now to get the coaches association involved, and then from coaches association involved, change the conversation. The conversation we have or we've had in the past has not really impacted that, anything, because the leadership is not, again, is not cohesive, right? So now, that a lot of us now getting, into a retirement stage for myself, I am going to be heavily engaged from now on, from this program, right, to the next election, promoting what the ideals of the nexus they talk about, and then take it from there. There are efforts in Nigeria. Let me be very clear. There are efforts. A lot of people are doing individual stuff, right? And then we see the result, right? One or two, Blessing and the rest, Essing, and I'm also so we know the story how they got to the US and then the practice. So what we need to do, those of us who have, again, the means, right, and then the education, to now, and then invite the press. You're doing a wonderful job, right, trying to get the information out, to make sure that we are participants in the political process. You cannot avoid politics from sports development. It's not going to work. We need to, engage. We need to get out, and this program is doing that.
All right. Yeah, there is also this thing before we go on the break, so that we can also have there is a Commonwealth gold medalist that we will be also that we will have on the show, just as an insert. But is it going to be, now that, looking at the topic of this particular discourse now, it's we're looking at the presidential election. Are we doing from this, does it suggest we are doing from top to bottom, or should we do bottom to top? Like, I know there will be the governorship elections too will take place, and the lawmakers too will be having their elections too. And later on, we will have the local government elections. But that means that we will be, a diverse conversation will be going on. The governors should be involved, the lawmakers too, because the law is good for the policies that will be coming out. So I'm also just thinking, are you also going to integrate these people into the plan, Sadiq?
Very good question. We have to find a way to integrate them, right? We have to identify individuals that have the knowledge, individuals that are interested, individuals that have participated, and individuals that know how to engage and then talk. We have to find out within ourselves. You're correct. Remember, sports development is local, right? So bottom-up approach and then top-down approach, they must come and then where they meet is where we're going to see the impact, right? So it has to be both. But again, the grassroots is usually the bottom up, the coaches and all of that. We need to find a way to be inclusive. Presidential candidates are talking about diversity. They're talking about inclusiveness. They're talking about taking advantage of the opportunities. So we've not really seen that yet until, right, we now change the conversation. People like myself, there are a lot of young people coming up in sports that are ready, to engage. We, again, like I said, we have to get organized. Then the local, the state, and then the federal, they have specific role to play. And there's going to be the leadership from top down is going to be the federal. They have to set the tone for, and I don't see that happening at all because of the politics and because of those in the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports. That's another conversation, that is impacting, the development. So we need to have that conversation. Then what the federal government does is important to the state, and then the state to the local government. We're talking about devolution in Nigeria of power, right? Some of us need to now engage, right? For example, look at what just happened to Tinubu campaign. I just read that 65 people were inaugurated. I didn't see any sports person in that group, right, that can now inform, although, again, the party has done, appreciably well in moving in that direction, but we need to now engage, to change, to take opportunity, take advantage of the of what could come. And the presidential candidate, one of them is going to be the president, and that person must declare now, that yes, sports and education can coexist. And then bring us on board.
All right. Okay, quickly, just before we wrap up this conversation, let's quickly take this insight from. We're talking sports, and some Nigerians making us proud at the Commonwealth too. So let's get to Rafiat Folashade Lawal, Commonwealth gold medalist, the Birmingham Commonwealth gold medalist. Let's hear from her. Then we come to close this conversation.
About my performance, I'm so excited because what really happened today, I don't really expect it, but I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I represented Nigeria in Morocco, Rabat. Then I went to World Championship with the host in Uzbekistan. Then I went to Kenya, African Championship. And I think this will be the 5th or 4th championship that I went for. I really appreciate my people in Ibadan State, or your state. I really appreciate them with their support and prayers. And Nigerian too, I really appreciate them a lot with their support and encouragement they're giving me. Then my coach.
All right, that's Rafiat Folashade Lawal, gold medalist, at the Commonwealth Games, in weightlifting. Fantastic. Okay, back to, she's excited. People like this, we must have a way of doing more. Sadiq, before I let you go in just 1 minute, how do we sum all this up? As we get out of this program, there is one thing we should take away. And one of the things I will also propose to you is that we must take it beyond this, because before the election, we must have a conversation with all those people you just mentioned. We must have a serious conversation. But let's sum things up. So what are you looking forward to now as we wrap things?
No, I'm looking for a change of mindset. I'm looking for Nigerians, the politicians, to appreciate, the performances of these athletes, whether the World Championship, Athletic Champ that just concluded, the Commonwealth game going on right now. You can see that these Nigerians are, the image of Nigeria is now changing. They need to, politicians need to capitalize on that. She mentioned she's very thankful to the state, or your state, so state must get involved. She mentioned coaches must get involved. We in the diaspora must also support the all of these efforts in Nigeria. And I'm going to make that effort, that effort that will bring everybody together and then begin. And your role too as well. I hope that this is not going to be the last time where we have a concrete focus. And hopefully I will be coming to Nigeria and then engage, those who we know are going to be the next president, and then ask them what they have in plan. And then, of course, give them support as well. Nigeria is for all of us, whether insecurity or not. Nigeria, sports will play a role in unifying Nigeria. And thank you for inviting me, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Sadiq. It's always a pleasure. Don't worry, we'll continue this conversation, and I believe that is not a coincidence, because we will definitely get something out of this. Thank you very much once again, and I wish you all the best. All right, that was a member of the Nigerian Olympian Association, former tennis player, and an Olympian, talking about the 2023 presidential election and sports. How do we make it big business? And yes, that's it. Okay, this is where the cookie crumbles. Thanks for joining me on this edition. Don't forget, social media handles are there for you. You can reach us via Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can, and of course, you can follow me on my own special Twitter handle, GD Sports. Until I come away next time, I'm yours truly today, tomorrow, and of the future is sports business. GD Olana is over and about.